I mention it, and I am going to read your Bible, scripture, but you want to hear this. So chill out, man. Chill out. So I'm going to talk about, which I've mentioned many times, Deuteronomy 28. And what does Deuteronomy 28 talk about? Deuteronomy 28 talks about God's people, Israel, and if they obey his laws and his commandments, how they will be blessed. And that's what the first part of Deuteronomy talks about. And then the second part of Deuteronomy, it talks about if God's people, Israel, if they don't obey, if they don't obey the law, then what would happen? And that's what we're really going to spend some time on. Because I'll just be honest with you. Again, I'm reading the scripture, and in the scripture, I'm saying, man, I'm seeing an explanation of these people. It keeps on matching my people, African Americans, Africans that live in the Americas, right? So let's talk about it. Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass. You know what? I'm not going to read the King James Version because you'll get all like, I don't like that. So I'm going to read the American Standard Version. It's a little different, but you still get the message. All right. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Jehovah thy God, to observe and do all his commandments which I command thee this day, then Jehovah your God will set ye high above the earth, above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come unto thee and overtake thee, and it shall hearken unto the voice of Jehovah thy God. Okay? Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shall thee be in the field. Blessed shall be in the fruits of your body, and the fruit of your ground, right? Plentiful. And the fruit of the beasts, and the increase of your cattle. This was currency back then. And the young of thy flock. All of it's going to be blessed, right? Blessed shall be thy basket and thy kneading something. Blessed shalt thou be in, thou cometh in, and blessed shall be when you goeth out. Right? When you're coming in, you're leaving, you can be blessed every which way. Jehovah will cause thine enemies that rise up against you to be smitten before thee, and shall run out against you. I'm going to interchange like you for thee sometimes. One way. And you shall flee before thee 7 ways. So they're going to come in at you like all big and bad one way. And then you're going to be so tough, they're going to flee in every direction. Right? Jehovah will command the blessings upon thee in thy barns and in all thou putteth thy hands unto. And he will bless you in the land which Jehovah the God giveth you. Jehovah will establish thee for the holy people unto himself. That's what he's going to do. That's what he has done. He has sworn unto thee, if you should keep his commandments, Jehovah your God, and walk in his ways, and all the people of the earth shall see you, and you shall be called by the name of Jehovah, God's people, and they shall be afraid of you. And Jehovah will make you plenteous for good. He's going to be afraid of you, but you're still going to be good. And the fruit of the body, and the fruit of the cattle, and the fruit of the ground, and the land in which Jehovah sware unto thy fathers to give you. So Jehovah will open up unto thee his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain of the land in the seasons, and to bless all the work of your hand, and you shall be lent unto many nations. You're going to lend money to a whole bunch of people, but you're not going to be a borrower, not going to be in debt. And Jehovah will make thee the head and not the tail, and you should be above only, and you shall not be beneath. And if thou shalt hearken unto the commandments of Jehovah, keeps on telling you what you got to do. You just got to listen to God. Jehovah God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them, and shall not turn aside from any of the words which I command you this day, not to the right or to the left, to go after other gods and serve them. Saying, don't do that. But it shall come to pass that if you will not hearken unto the voice of Jehovah the God, to observe to do all his commandments. So here it is. Here's the curses. Like, if you don't do this, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Curses shall thou be in the city, and you'll be cursed in the field. You'll be cursed in the field. Hold up. You'll be cursed in the field. All right. So now, you might have heard about this Deuteronomy theory that I think it's called in Wikipedia, the Black Deuteronomy theory or something, right? So anyway, Deuteronomy, when you hear about the curses of Deuteronomy, I want you to think of African Americans in the North Atlantic slave trade, right? All the way to today, 2020. Think about it. Just use that as a context, just for now, just while as I'm reading. You can go back to however you thought before or after this. But listen to what this says. You'll be cursed in the ghettos, and you'll be cursed in the slave fields. No, that's not what he said. I'm sorry. Let me start over. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, ghettos, and cursed shalt thou be in the field, as you work the fields as slaves. Cursed shall be thy basket of kneading trough. Cursed shall be the fruit of the body, and the fruit of the ground, the increase of thy cattle, and the young of thy flock. Cursed shalt thou be when you come in, and cursed when you go out. Jehovah will send upon you curses and rebuke you and all that you put your hands on to do, until you're destroyed and until you perish quickly, because the evil of your doings, whereby you have forsaken me, Jehovah will make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goeth in to possess. Jehovah will smite thee with consumption. What? I mean, you're going to want a whole bunch of shiny things and expensive cars, and with fever, with inflammation, and with fiery heartburn, fiery heat, and with the sword. I'm going to kill 700 people a year in Chicago. Wait, doesn't say that. It says you're going to kill them with guns. No, wait, doesn't mention Chicago. All right. And with the blasting. All right, I got to see the King James interpretation of that. So anyway, blasting. And with mildew. And they shall pursue you until you perish. And your heaven that is over your head shall be brass. And the earth that is under thee shall be iron. What could that be? Jehovah will make the rain of your land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee, until thou be destroyed. Jehovah will cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and you shall flee 7 ways before them. And you shall be tossed to and from among all the kingdoms of the earth. He called that the Jewish diaspora. So anyway, and the dead body shall be food unto all birds of the heavens and unto the beasts of the earth, and there shall be none to frighten them away. Jehovah will smite thee with the boil of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scurvy, and with the itch, whereof thou cannot be healed. Gross. Jehovah will smite thee with madness, and with blindness, and with astonishment of heart. And you shall grope at noonday, and the blind gropeth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in your ways. You should only be oppressed and robbed always, and there shall be none to save you. Because 911's a joke. Thou shalt be betrothed a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Probably a rapper. And thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell in it. And thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not use the fruit thereof. Sounds like slavery. Thine ox shall be slain before your eyes, and thou shalt not eat of it. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. All your possessions are stolen. Right before they put you on boats and shipped you over here. The sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and that thou shalt have none to save thee. Thy sons and daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day, and there shall be not in the power of thy hand the fruit of the ground and of the labors, so the work you do, shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. What? And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always? Wait a minute. The fruit of your ground and your labor. This is Deuteronomy 28:33. The fruit of my labor, a nation which I don't know. This is after we left Egypt. A nation that we don't know, never heard of. It's going to eat us up. Interesting. And oppress us and crush us always. So thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, for which you see. Jehovah will smite thee in the knees and the legs with boils, diabetes. No, it doesn't say diabetes in the Bible. Whereof thou cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot into the crown of thy head. Jehovah will bring thee in the king whom thou shalt set over thee. Just be a king, someone that's completely in charge of you, unto a nation that thou hast not known. Interesting. So you're going to have a ruler. For when this was written, the nation wasn't created yet. Could be America. And there shalt you serve other gods, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword, an inward. Again, didn't say that. Among all the peoples where Jehovah shall lead thee. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field. You shall gather little in as your slave. For the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but thou shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy borders, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olive shall cast its fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be thine. They won't be yours, for they shall go into captivity. Many of them locked up before the age 32 under the Clinton crime bill. Doesn't say that. All right. And thy trees and thy fruit on the ground shall be locust possessed. The sojourner that is in the midst of thee shall mount up above thee higher and higher, and thou shalt come down lower and lower. Interesting. So it's saying the people that are just like coming through here, like, you know, Kenyans, people from Ghana, they're just moving on up, but we're just moving on down. Interesting. He said, people shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to them. There will be a plethora of same day check cashing places, 24/7, 6,000% interest. Doesn't say that either. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And all these curses shall come unto thee, and shall pursue you, and overtake you, till you be destroyed, because your hearkeneth, what you want, not unto the voice of Jehovah the God, to keep his commandments and his statutes. So why is all this bad stuff happening to me? Why are we in such a bad position? I had a conversation with a young lady today. Why are we in such a bad position? I'm telling you right now. Because you're not keeping the law. As a community, we're not. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. These curses are going to be on us forever, because you serveth not Jehovah the God with joyfulness and gladness of heart. By reason of the abundance of all things, therefore shall you serve your enemies, that Jehovah shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and nakedness and all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until thou have destroyed thee. Wait. What? 48. Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, like in slavery, that Jehovah shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. Weird. Jehovah will bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as the eagle flieth. What the American eagle? Oh man, this is really getting crazy. Deuteronomy 28. Anyway, as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And they don't want you to understand it. They don't want you to be able to read your history. And they don't want you. Anyway, my bad. I digress. A nation of fierce countenance that shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young, or even the unborn, because they love abortion. And shall eat the fruits of thy cattle and the fruit of thy ground until you're destroyed. And they also won't leave you any grain or new wine or oil, the increase of thy cattle and young of thy flock, until they have caused you to perish. And they shall besiege you in all the gates until thy high and fortified walls come down. This besiegement is actually talked about, but it happens after the death of Christ, where Rome marched on Jerusalem and overtook Israel. But these next couple verses is what it explains. And they say, shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fortified walls come down. Where if thou trusteth throughout all the land, and they shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Jehovah thy God hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of the sons and the daughters whom Jehovah God hath given thee, and the siege and the distress wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee. And there's actually places in the Bible that talks about where Israel, it's funny, I thought I had my glasses on, where Israel, they had to sacrifice and eat their own kids when they were getting out of there. It was the worst of times when Rome marched on Jerusalem. The man that is tender among you, very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, from who he will not pay child support. Didn't say that. He had the remaining. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left him in the siege of Israel by the Romans. And in the distress wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates, the tender and delicate woman among you, who would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband, and shall just be an angry black woman. Wait, doesn't say that. And towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out, and from between her feet, and towards her children from whom she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly, in the siege and the distress wherewith thy enemies shall distress thy gates. If thou wilt not observe to do all these words of this law that are written in the book, that thou mayest fear his glorious and fearful name, Jehovah thy God, then Jehovah will make the plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of like AIDS, HIV, and of long continence and sore sickness, and of long continuance. And he will bring up against thee all the disease of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. And every sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of this law, them will Jehovah bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars in the heaven for multitude, because thou did not hearken unto the voice of Jehovah the God. And it shall come to pass that as Jehovah rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Jehovah will rejoice over you and cause you to fall in love with Planned Parenthood and perish and destroy you, and ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goeth in to possess it. You'll be evicted, and Jehovah will scatter thee among all the peoples from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth, in the North Atlantic slave trade. And thou shalt serve other gods, like a white Jesus, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, and there shall be no rest for the sole of thy foot. For Jehovah will give thee a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and pinning of soul, and thy life shall hang in doubt anytime you go on the south side before thee. And thou shalt fear night and day, and shalt have no assurance of thy life. In the morning you'll say, would it be even? And if even, thou shalt say, would it be morning? For the fear of thy heart which thou shalt fear and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And Jehovah will bring thee into Egypt captivity, but this time again with ships. Because they got to go North Atlantic slave trade. By the way, whereof I said unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall sell yourselves unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no one shall buy you. Meaning no one's going to buy you to free you. Interesting. Deuteronomy 28. There it is. I've talked about it and I've read it. And, well, now you heard of it. Now, you say, all right, I've heard your breakdown of Genesis. I heard your explanation of your opinion on why you think black people are the people of the Bible. You even read me some pretty compelling scripture that might, if you're right, talk about the prophecy of the curses that we've experienced here after following the North Atlantic slave trade, specifically in America. And you might say, well, still not buying it. That's fine. That's cool. I'm okay with that, man. You have your faith, I have mine. You share yours, I'll share mine. Maybe one day on the other side, we'll all have a glass of wine and laugh about all this stuff. So, thank you for taking the time to listen and let me share my faith with you on who I feel the true identity of African Americans are, as shown by the Bible and throughout history. Now, of course, you might ask, what if you're wrong? Great question. Look, I told you, this is just my faith. I'm just having a conversation about, my beliefs and whatever. You can have your own. If we differ, I'm not going to hate you and you shouldn't hate me. It's whatever. I think it's important that we know who we are and whose we are, because there's specific instructions for those people. So we know how to live our lives so we can be blessed, bless our families, bless our communities, right? So, if I'm wrong, sounds like it could be a little dangerous, right? Trying to prioritize people in God's plan. But I'm not saying treat anybody any differently. I'm not saying hate anybody. I'm not saying feel some certain way, right, about any group of people other than your fellow Hebrews, right? Black Israel needs to continue to evolve and understand who we are so we can improve our community and improve this world. Let's get it.